is a Sunday breakdown from the 31st of March to April 4th. So starting off with gold, we're at a higher high. On the weekly, that means we'd be looking for a wick pullback continuation, but we don't have any area of interest for it to pull back to. It's just at an all-time high. Yeah, even if the daily pulls back, there's just no area of interest for it to pull back properly to, unless it pulls back and then it'll shift. So nothing on that. GBP NZD weekly at a all-time high. Daily is bearish. Daily would have to shift. We can have previous structure and then it comes back. So daily needs to shift bullish basically. So here we're just gonna put down US oil, basically at TP. Let me see the daily. Yeah, the daily. Yeah, this is basically there already, so we're not interested in US oil. USD NOK. Oh, that was the wrong time frame we're looking at. Okay, so here we're at a lower low. For doing counter trend trades, it would have to come all the way back up here. Daily would need to shift. Basically, daily just needs SOS. Okay, so here we're at broken paths. Weekly structure would be here. Daily is counter trend. Daily's having our daily is in trend, so the 4-hour would need to shift. Needs 4-hour SOS. USD HKD. The weekly, this is the range right here. The weekly is at an area of interest. And the daily is bullish, and the daily looks like it just broke out. Well, it didn't just break out to this accumulation, but trend looks like it's just broken out. So we could look for, because of this accumulation level on here, and we just broke out 4-hour pullback. Okay, we'll just be looking for a proper daily pullback. So if we get a proper daily pullback, because we've already reacted off the weekly and the dailies in trend. So basically, yeah. So looking for proper daily pullback. USD CAD on the weekly, we are bearish. Weekly is just not at an area of interest, so we're just not interested. NZD USD weekly basically being super choppy. So when the weekly is like this, we're just not going to be interested in it. Basically, it's choppy and it's in a range. So USD, we're just going to wait for this basically to break out of that as well. Euro NZD weekly is at a higher high. We've had rejection candle. We've just rejected bulls. This is also bullish. But we've had, well, we're at a higher high with, it's not really an indecision candle. Daily's bullish as well too. So if we're looking for a wick continuation, there is basically nothing. No area of interest for the wick continuation pullback. And it's a pro trend. Okay, so the weekly is bullish. The daily's saying the same thing. 1 second. For the weekly wick pullback, it just needs to pull back to a daily area of interest or a weekly area of interest, but we don't have any. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, maybe something like that. So if it pulls back to here and we can look, so we just need just a proper 4-hour pullback, it seems like, to a daily area of interest. So if it's going to do that, the 4-hour is going to need to do a proper pullback and shift. So Euro HUF on the weekly. So we're bearish on the weekly. We've pulled back to this weekly area of interest right here. The daily needs to shift. Basically this. We'll just put this range so we remember. USD SGD. Let's see. The weekly is now at a lower low. The weekly's had a pullback to potential area of interest. Let's see. There we've pulled back. And 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. Let's say that's a decent area of interest. So we've pulled back to the weekly area of interest. The daily definitely needs to have a shift because the daily is kind of weird right now. So just waiting for the daily SOS. GJ, we are bearish. So currently bearish, haven't reacted off a weekly area of interest or anything like that. So we're just not interested in it yet. Euro JPY, same thing. We're bearish. We're here. Have we reacted off a weekly area of interest? 1 touch, 2 touch. Yeah, I would say so. So we've reacted off this weekly area of interest, and the daily is bullish. So the daily needs to just shift, just break under, pull back, and and go. And since it's weekly, we'll be targeting the weekly take profit, which is just right down here. Basically, this needs a daily shift, right? Did we write that down? Okay. AUDJPY on the weekly or at a lower low. Price is kind of pulled back here. Let's see if it pulled back to anything. Area of interest. I would say it did. You just do that. We don't need to make it super complicated, but here we have one touch, two touch, pull it down a little. We have three touch here, four touch, five touch, six touch. So we're at the area of interest. This would be our lower low. Daily would then need to shift. So the daily is bullish. So let's say it just breaks above, shifts lower, then we can come down and just take it to this TP here. It's kind of a tight range, but it might happen. Euro PLN weekly, we're at a lower low. So we're at a lower low. We basically pulled back an area of interest. We have one touch. This is all the way to 2017. So yeah, we're not gonna bother with that zone. Dailies, weekly's pulling back. The daily has shifted structure to bullish. So then we can look for a counter trend trade basically up to this area on here. And the daily is in trend. So this is a daily high or low. So the 4 hour needs to be in trend as well too. 4 hours bullish. So 4 hour needs or 4 hours bearish. 4 hour needs a shift of structure. USD PLN, we are at a lower low on the weekly, and the daily is confirming that. Doesn't look like it's shifted. Yeah, we're there at a daily. So basically we're looking for a counter trend trade. We can just take it up to the first weekly structure point or first weekly structure right there. The daily is definitely, or the 4 hour is bullish, the daily was bullish. So the 4 hour is having its proper pullback. So this one is going to be ready the soonest. And this is a nice retracement as well too. And let's see if we've pulled back to like an area of interest. We're going here, we go boom, 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 just like that. And we get all the zones basically. This is a 4 hour and we pulled back. So basically we're just looking for the accumulation break retest on here. Okay, UK oil, let's reset. We go to the weekly. Weekly is at a lower low. Weekly is at a lower low. The structure point would have been right here. We'd be targeting. And the daily is confirming that the dailies are ready, unless the daily makes like a pullback to like a proper pullback all the way back to here. Then we'd be interested because then we could take it back here. Basically, it's already hit take profit, but if it pulls back to here, we can take it back to there. So UK oil. Okay, silver weekly is at a higher high. So if we're looking for a weekly with pullback, we can pull back to a daily area of interest. We don't really have one. We pull back because this is just like one touch, two touch, three, maybe. We'll pull back to this area, and the 4 hour would need to shift. USD ZAR weekly is bullish, had a pullback, rejected off the weekly area of interest. Nice. Daily is bullish. Nice. So we just need a proper 4 hour pullback to a daily area of interest. So let's find a proper daily area of interest. Yeah, we can see that's good. So basically we just need the 4 hour to have a proper pullback. USD SEK on the weekly, we're at a lower low. Weekly take profit is basically right here. So the only way it's going to work is if the daily's bearish. It's a wick continuation. Daily would need to have a proper pullback. We don't really have an area that it can pull back to unless one, two, three. If it pulls back to here, yeah, weekly wick continuation, need a proper daily pullback. So if we get a proper daily pullback all the way to here, then we'll be okay. So we just need proper daily pullback. NZD-JPY, we've pulled back to a weekly area of interest. The daily needs to shift. Yeah, same category. GA, weekly is at a higher high. This is definitely the next weekly structure point. The daily is saying the same thing. The daily is bullish. We need a proper daily pullback, but I don't see it happening off anything. Euro pound weekly is bearish, had a proper pullback, rejected off of this area. The daily is bullish. Daily needs to have a shift of structure. CHF, JPY, the weeklies had a pullback to one touch, two touch, three touch, four touch. Yeah, okay, so it's pulled back. And what is the daily saying? The daily saying that it needs to shift. So simplest way, just shift to the take profit, which would be down here. So yeah, we need daily SOS. And GU weekly is bullish with an indecision, so we need a counter trend. The daily is currently bear bullish. Daily's currently bullish at this point. So if we are looking for this, we need the daily to shift. GBP NZD, higher high. Daily needs to shift. USD NOK looks like, let me see. We didn't break it. Take profit is already here. So basically the daily would have to pull back. It's a weak continuation. The daily would need to pull back. We had the daily pull back. Yeah. We had the daily kind of pull back all the way like this, and we would have a decent enough pullback to then come back here maybe. We'll see how the range looks when it happens. Euro HUF, we've had a weekly is bearish. We've had a pullback to this zone. This zone's got one touch, two touches here, the third touch right here. So it's good. And what's the daily saying? The daily saying that it needs to have a shift. Euro SGD or USD SGD, we are currently bearish and we've pulled back to a weekly area of interest. Weekly take profit would be there, and the daily needs to shift. So we're just waiting for a daily shift to structure. Euro JPY, the weekly is bearish, pull back into there. Same thing, daily needs to shift. AUD JPY, weekly is at a lower low with all these indecision candles kind of becoming choppy. Daily needs to have some sort of shift to make that happen. Weekly is at a lower low. The daily has shifted with it. So basically, this just needs a 4 hour. Let me continue. Let's go down to the 4 hour, see what's happening. 4 hour, yeah, it needs a shift. Okay, so let's see. I think we've already went through, yeah, this. I would basically say this is already, oh, this is the weekly structure here. The weekly had a proper pullback. Well, it's not really a proper pullback. Daily needs to shift. AUSD HKD, we are currently bullish and the daily is currently bullish. So the 4 hour just needs a proper 4 hour pullback. We pull back, we need this to pull back. Well, it's a continuation, so we need a proper daily pullback. Needs proper daily pullback first. UK oil, we are at a lower low. We pulled back on the weekly. Let's see if we've pulled back to anything. I think this zone might just be a little too thick. It doesn't look that bad actually. Here, what's the daily saying? The daily saying that it needs to shift. So we'll just wait for something like that. Daily needs to shift. Weekly is at a lower low, basically at take profits. So if we're looking for a wick pullback to a daily area of interest, maybe it can come back to like here. Just need it to come back to there. Needs a proper daily pullback, and then we can take it to TP. USD NOK, basically there already. If the daily pulls back, it has to pull back, yeah, all the way to here. So that needs proper daily pullback. Euro PLN at a lower low. Yeah, we can use this at our weekly structure. What's the daily saying? The daily is also bullish, and the 4 hour needs a shift. CAD JPY on the weekly, it is, see, it's had a pullback. The only thing is I don't know if I like it because it seems like kind of a thick level, but it's okay. Doable here. Lower low. Daily needs a shift. UD CAD. The weekly just looks really messy. Basically, the weekly is within this range now, so we're just gonna wait for it to break out. Okay, we're at an all-time high with indecision candles. What's the daily saying? The daily saying it's bearish as well. Since it's a counter trend trade, we need the 4 hour to say the same thing, so we just need the 4 hour to shift. So perfect, this is in a good spot. Use the MXN weekly. Let's see, pull back to here. What do we got here? Not bad. Here. Yeah, I would say not bad. Let's pull back to a weekly area of interest. What's the daily saying? The daily's also saying that it's bearish. So daily saying that it's bearish. What's the 4 hour saying? The 4 hour saying that it needs a shift of structure. Euro USD. Weekly is bullish at a higher high. Look, what's the daily saying? The daily saying that is ready to go counter trend because the daily is bearish. It's having a pullback, so we just need a 4 hour area of interest. That means the 4 hour needs to shift structure. So it's either going to break down and then come here. We can look for something like that. The weekly take profits, its counter trend would be this structure point right here. This just needs, yeah, 4 hour shift of structure. Weekly, lower low, indecision daily is already shifted. Cool. So then the 4 hour needs to be in trend. 4 hour just needs to shift. So we'll just say it shifts like that. Yay. Needs 4 hour shift to structure. Yeah, it can break up like that, or it can just break down and do something. So we can say it'll do something like that, maybe. Broken above. There's no proper pullback on the weekly counter trend. Can look to it there. What's the daily saying? The daily is bullish. Daily's having a pullback. What's the 4 hour saying? The 4 hour saying that it needs a shift of structure. And back to silver, needs a 4 hour shift of structure. Since this is pro trend and we've had a weekly rejection, we actually need a proper 4 hour or daily pullback. Actually need a daily pullback now. So we're going to get a daily pullback and then we can start looking. Euro PLN weekly indecision. Yeah, we're looking for daily to shift. We're looking for 4 hour to shift. Higher high indecision. Weekly take profit. What's the daily saying? Daily is good. We just don't have an area of interest because it's, oh, actually, we're good. Need the 4 hour to shift first. Need the 4 hour to shift for the counter trend. Euro USD needs the 4 hour to shift as well. USD DKK weekly, lower low. Daily has shifted. 4 hour needs to shift. Weekly, daily shifted. 4 hour just needs to shift. 4 hour needs to shift. Perfect, K. These are all done. And USD HUF, weekly take profit, daily looks like it's shifted. So daily is shifted. So then we just need the 4 hour to either shift or have a proper pullback. 4 hour probably 4 hour needs to shift. USD CZK weekly at a lower low indecision. Take profit would be here. Daily needs to nope, daily is in structure. It's not a bad spot for a pullback. So daily's had a pretty good pullback. The 4 hour definitely needs to shift. Needs 4 hour SOS. Use the HKD. Weekly is bullish. It's pulled back to this area of interest. Daily's bullish. You need a proper 4 hour pullback. And USD PLN weekly lower low is the daily saying. Daily's confirming and 4 hours also confirmed. This one's really good because it's basically just waiting for the accumulation break shift. We'll check back at around like 7 p.m. Right now it's 3. We'll see if anything happens around 7 p.m. for an entry. And that's it.